dedicated to southern and eastern Kentucky. This is WYMT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. Miners call for a tax hike on coal. As Washington correspondent Kyle Madura explains, they say it's an essential step to protect their physical and financial health.
Deep-throated pleas from coal country echo through the nation's capital.
I pray that they are listening because they've all we've got.
Black lung disease, which stems from decades of exposure to coal dust, claimed Patty Umberge's husband of 45 years in 2007. The incurable disease touches every one of these more than 100 retired mine workers and their families. They want Congress to raise the tax on coal production that helps cover the cost of care and disability back to where it was last year.
It's important to every miner that is walking through these halls.
Umberge ran into West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin, thanking him for writing a bill to do just that.
Bless you.
Thank you.
And having their backs.
Congress is the one that broke it, and the Congress has got to fix it.
Umberge and her peers also met with the country's most powerful senator, Kentucky's Mitch McConnell. He did not commit to raising the coal production tax back up, but his staff says Congress's typical process will find the best way to protect miners. Spokespeople issued this statement, which reads in part, Senator McConnell and his staff have been working closely with interested parties regarding future funding for the program and will continue to ensure these important benefits are maintained.
We need some action.
25,000 miners and their families depend on the Black Lung Disability Fund, and the disease is on the rise. The fund is billions in debt and expected to stay there unless Congress acts. In Washington, Kyle Madura, WYMT Mountain News.
The Kentuckians on the trip also met with staffers from Senator Rand Paul's office. A spokesperson says they are exploring ways to assist, but did not respond to our questions about specific proposals.
Another beautiful day here across the mountains and some folks getting out and about, including some maybe power companies. Let's take a look at the camera there on top of US 119. You can see a couple of trucks up there, maybe even one of those bucket trucks there on top of the mountain today. Back and forth with sunshine over Whitesburg. Very quiet there today. Beautiful day in the valley, and then up on Buffalo Mountain on the other ridge. You can see a few clouds moving in front of the sun, but for the most part, another beautiful day. Temperatures right now anywhere between 72 in Wise. They've climbed a little bit to about 80 there in London. We're still seeing some nice weather, some less humid weather, a few degrees cooler in some spots than this time yesterday, a few degrees warmer in some spots right where they were this time yesterday. Temperatures start to slide quickly, especially as we get into the nighttime hours and those skies continue to clear. We'll get down into the mid-50s later tonight. I'll have the rest of the forecast for you coming up here in just a few minutes. Steve?
All right. Thank you, Brandon. The 2019 Harlan County Safety Days mine competition continued today in Cumberland. Miners said the competition may not have actual rescues, but it keeps them prepared for a disaster if it comes. WYMT's Hannah Reynolds talks to miners that say the competition means much more than bringing home a trophy.
All zeros?
13 teams representing mines from all over.
West Virginia, Illinois, Kentucky, Virginia.
All competing for one title. Champion.
We're going to take trophies back to Illinois.
I think we stand a pretty good shot. We do pretty good usually everywhere we go.
It takes studying and sacrifices to get them prepared.
We train at least once a month. When we're competing, we train usually 2 or 3 days before we go to a competition.
The competition is all in good fun.
They're doing excellent. Yeah, the teams really enjoy the competition with each other.
Miners say the competition is much more than any award they bring home. It is making sure the miners make it home too.
You never know what could happen. I mean, there's so many different variables in coal mining. You have to be prepared for about everything.
And competitors say mine safety competitions are as close as you can get to a real-life situation. Their dedication to their fellow miner does not go unnoticed.
They do this on their own. It's not by choice. They come out and volunteer for this, to be on the team. And sacrifices they make to be here, you gotta love them.
Keeping miners sharp for real emergencies. In Harlan County, Hannah Reynolds, WYMT Mountain News.
The mine safety competition ends tomorrow at the Southeast Kentucky Community and Technical College Cumberland campus. Pope Francis has released disciplinary measures for a Roman Catholic bishop in West Virginia accused in a sex scandal. The former bishop of the Diocese of Wheeling, Charleston, is no longer allowed to live in the area or participate in public church events. In addition to these penalties, he will also have to make, quote, personal amends to the victims. The future bishop of the diocese will have the final decision concerning those amends. A rare tornado hit parts of Massachusetts on Cape Cod yesterday. Look at this video of strong winds and rough waves pounding some sailboats. Witnesses say at least 7 other boats capsized or sank. More than a dozen others were pushed aground. Some scientists think the Milky Way melded with a smaller galaxy about 10 billion years ago. Using data from a space telescope, researchers are taking measurements to piece together how the Milky Way was formed. They say there's evidence the Milky Way violently collided with a dwarf galaxy. The stars of both galaxies were thrown into motion, forming the halo around the Milky Way that exists today. A study including the data was published in the journal Nature Astronomy. Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, an interview with Greta Van Susteren on today's testimony of former special counsel Robert Mueller.
If we keep having days like this one, we're going to have to start to learn how to say sunny in different languages like Kelly did this morning. I'll have the beautiful forecast coming up in a few minutes.